question, Senator? I do.
Senator Whitehouse.
Chair recognizes Senator
will.
Kennedy first, and then Senator Whitehouse.
Senator, if under your understanding of this bill, if we sue countries in antitrust from which we're now buying oil, and those countries take the position that, well, okay, while you're suing us, we're not going to sell you any of our oil, and the Biden administration continues its war on fossil fuels, so we can't produce our own oil, where do we get the oil?
Well, we'll find ourselves in the same posture as many European countries where President Putin is using this as a weapon. And if we get engaged in that sort of controversy with these oil-producing countries, then it will raise the price, and we won't be able to keep the lights on here at home.
Thank you.
Senator Whitehouse.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to make 2 points in response to Senator Cornyn's question. The first is that there's a well-established distinction in the law between governments acting in a governmental capacity and governments acting in a proprietary capacity. And when governments act in a proprietary capacity, they have to be treated more like other regular market participants because they're behaving like regular market participants. And I'm confident that the Department of Justice in implementing this law would reflect that well-established distinction in the law. The second thing is that there's one important fact that was omitted from Senator Cornyn's discussion of the oil market, and that is that it has a peculiarity. It is unlike other things. If an American company makes a widget, then they're going to calculate what the cost is of making the widget. They're going to figure out what they need to pay their investors and what their overhead is, and they're going to charge a price that is based on their cost. And that's sort of the basic principle of market theory. The basic principle of market theory doesn't apply in the oil market because the price isn't set by supply and demand, and it isn't set by what the cost is for domestic producers. It's set by this international cartel with a zone of speculation around it based on how international speculators make their judgments about the cartel price. So when the cartel drives the price up, which it has done right now, then what we see in America is oil prices go through the roof, which we see. Oil company profits go through the roof because while the price setting has gone way up, the cost didn't change. So they're rolling in profits right now. So you see profits go up, you see prices go up, and you see CEO pay go up. So there's not much incentive for the domestic oil industry to drop below this international cartel price because they get to be like super big winners from it. And in fact, we're seeing epic CEO pay right now coming into these oil companies. So trying to get at this market failure, this discrepancy, this peculiarity of the oil market in which the price isn't based on cost of production, isn't based on the local concerns, it's based on an international cartel of highly questionable players like Iran, Venezuela, Russia, and we just happen to be willing to go along with that because it allows oil companies to overcharge American consumers. So I think that's an important part of the factual backdrop for this piece of legislation. Thank you.
Are there any senators wishing to offer an amendment to this bill? Senator Cruz, do you have an amendment?
Yes.